Welcome back to part 2. In the first part, we discussed the body. In the second part, we're going to have a look at the soul and the mind. And by the way, the introduction was missing in the first video. My name is Helga, and I'm a qualified physiotherapist specializing more in outpatients and in sports injuries. What is important to know as well, in the second part, I am going from the viewpoint of a Christian. I am a very adamant and dedicated person, and if this might offend you that I am going into the Christian belief, then this video might not be for you. But if you're interested, it is not solely focused on Christianity, but also to address the issues that do form part of our inner being, then please come along and share this with me. So, part 2. Welcome to my little soul station. As said, previously body, now the soul. So, with the soul, most of us are well aware whom we are fighting. In Ephesians 6 verse 6, it says, our fight is not against flesh and blood, but, and I'm shortening it, our fight is against spiritual forces of evil in the heavens. I would want to say we do know who we're fighting against. Some people may call it devil, others may call it spiritual forces, but one is for sure, in the spiritual world it's not against flesh and blood. So in this section I would want to say, instead of what are we fighting against, we need to focus on what are we standing for. Because if we can stand for something, then any attacks are not going to be very powerful. I've got a very good friend, Lisa, and we chat a lot about different parts of the belief. And the one thing that really just came up was this example of you are a ninja warrior and you're equipped. A lot of the Bible studies have been about the armor of God, how you have to protect yourself in spiritual warfare. And I fully agree with that. But we have a limited amount of energy, and we need to use that energy very sufficiently. So imagine yourself, a dark room. You know exactly what's in the room. There's a bed, there's a chair, and you can't really make out what's in the rest of the room. But in that dark room, there are enemies, and they are attacking you, and you've got a sword, and you're fighting. You are in battle. And how long do you think you can go on like that? Maybe a week, maybe 2. Your energy is going to be fleeting. And if you just think about it, what do most people do? And it's not only in South Africa this time. The robber comes to steal, and he comes to steal at night when it's dark. So if it's dark, that is when you are going to have to take out that sword and fight. So instead of being a fighter, how can we prevent that? People put up lights. What does a light do? Does a light have any characteristic of fight? Like any defensive skills, anything like that? No, it doesn't. It is a being. It is something that just already by its presence takes away the darkness. And I want to encourage you in the spiritual part to be more, rather than to always be fighting and spending all of that energy. Because if you think of that same scenario, if you would have stepped in as a warrior with a sword in a dark room, you would pretty much lose maybe after 2 weeks. If you would have stepped into that room as a light, there would not have been an attack in the first place. So that is something that's really dear to my heart, and that's hard for me to learn as well, because I'm also that person in the physical, as you know, you have to work, you have to do the exercises, but in the spiritual, that everything, like the little routines, reading in the Bible, praying, so those are things that equip us from the inside, that we can actually be the light. So what I want to challenge you this week is, if our eyes are the windows to our soul, what our soul is inside and reflects to the outside has to be a light. And it just has to be. It doesn't have to be aggressive or fighting. So yes, I want to challenge you to look what your eyes see, because what comes in is also reflected. and look what is in the inside and is actually showing towards the outside. And that is my challenge for you guys, that you can just walk through the week and be more aware of what you take in with your eyes, but also what people see in your eyes. There we are.